Hello, everyone. It's the Rotten Woman coming to you today, Sunday. Um, a few months ago, okay, just hold on one second. A few months ago, it was my birthday, my 52nd birthday, and I had asked my son, who is 30 years old, to plan a birthday party, a birthday celebration for me, and he did not. And when I said something about it on YouTube under another post about something along the same lines, and I called him mediocre. Also, in the post, I discussed the fact that I have stage 4 cancer, and, whatever. I had several people push back at me about calling my son mediocre, and that I was just like throwing in his face everything that I had ever done for him. But to be completely and totally honest with you, ever since I first got diagnosed in 2013, and the year now is 2026, so that was, 13 years ago, was the first time, the day that I got diagnosed and I was having a breakdown. My son decided it would be okay to abuse me. That's when it first started, because he is immature, and he was 18 at the time, 18 years old. He's immature. Even though I raised him well, at least I thought that I had. I thought that I had raised a decent, kind, loving young man. But I was very, very wrong, because my hold over him, I lost to the patriarchy and male-centered women in my family. So I'm a feminist, and I've been a feminist for a long time. So, people telling me that I shouldn't call my son mediocre when he literally is. He, can't keep a job. He lived with me after I moved out, after he financially abused me over and over again. And then physically abused me more. After I left an abusive marriage, which he knew practically destroyed me while I had cancer, then he decided it was okay for him to do that as well. I don't think so. And so people were assuming that I don't love my kid. Of course I love my son. But let me tell you what he actually did do on my birthday. He last minute, only because I made him find a restaurant to take me out to, the last minute. Then he proceeded to get drunk, be hateful at the restaurant by complaining about the food. And I will say the food was terrible. It was terrible. Ugh, yeah. But then proceeded to get drunk. Then when we went back to my home, and I don't know what I did, but apparently I must have looked at him the wrong way, because he started screaming at me. And this is a Wednesday night, okay? And by this time it's 9 o'clock. And he is screaming at me. And I asked him to leave. And this has been a problem with my son. When I have asked him to leave my home before, he won't leave until I call the police or pretend to call the police. And I have had to call the police on him before. I have had to. He came back a couple of hours later and kicked a big dent in my door and my door. And then I get up the next morning to find one of my tires on my car is flat from being slashed. And he did it to one of my neighbor's cars as well. So here I am out lots of money because I have to pay for 2 new tires. He never once said, he denied the fact that he did it to my car, but admitted that he did it to the other car, but denied the fact that he did it to my car. Tried to blame it on the other person whose tire he admitted to, tried to say it was him. Well, I confronted this young man because I've had problems with this young man in the past, but now we worked through it. Everything was fine. Everything was copacetic. No, we were having no more problems at all. And then my son just had to create problems. So I asked him, I said, did you cut my tire? And he looked me right in my eyes and swore to me he would never do anything like that, especially to me because I have cancer and I have to go to the doctor. So I believed him. And I knew it was my son anyway, because my son is very, very petty. To be honest with you, I just went no contact with him because I made the fatal mistake of talking to him again after what he did on my birthday. And this is not to mention that a few months before that, I literally had to force him out of my home after 3 years of living with me, after he chanted at me over and over again to die. Why won't you just die? Why won't you just die? You see you next Tuesday. That's what he said to me. So, me calling him mediocre was me being super duper nice. Because I could have called him a lot of other things. Now, I love my kid. I love my son. But he is a grown man. And I just went no contact with him yesterday and blocked him because he DARVO'd me. And if you don't know what DARVO is, it's a common manipulation abuse tactic. Defend, attack, reverse victim and offender. So he was being nasty to me on the phone, and I said, I don't like it when you talk to me like that. You know what he said? This is how I talk to everybody. And I said, well, the fact that you might want to think about that, since I don't like the way you talk to me, like when you talk to me like this, I don't like it. But this is how you talk to everybody. Maybe that's, maybe they don't like it, but they won't tell you. And then he starts ranting at me about how I'm wrong and how I'm too sensitive and blah, blah, blah. And then says to me, after I say, what does any of this have to do with the fact that I don't like the way you're talking to me? Then he says that I don't like the way you're talking to me. And I recognized it right off the bat. Thank you, Bourbon Bougie. Thank you, Therese Lee. Thank you, the Audacity Podcast, for waking up my mind to see that my son is this way. That he is using all the tactics that his dad used on me when I was young. Because I was also a trad wife. I was married to a white supremacist. And I was a trad wife. I was a stay-at-home mom. For 3 years, I stayed at home with my son. Until the day that my husband decided he was going to try to punch our son in the face for not getting pee-pee in the potty. He had the audacity and the crime to not pee in the potty. He was 3 years old. I left him. But it turns out nurture is not stronger than nature, and one woman cannot fight the patriarchy. I can't do it by myself. I tried to raise him as a feminist. Some of it rubbed off. But he still physically abused his mother. He financially abused me. He mentally and emotionally abused me. And people are coming at me, telling me that I'm a bad person and I'm a bad woman and I'm a bad mother. You know what? I don't have time to combat every negative post or response I get online. And it's exhausting trying to defend myself against my abuser. Why should women have to do that? Like, am I lying about my own kid? What do I have to gain for lying about my own child or my own husband or a boyfriend? What do I have to gain from lying about it? Clout? Do you really think that it's like clout to be abused? I would much rather not. You know the kind of relationship I would love to have with my son? Because he doesn't have to take care of me. I never expected him to take care of me. I had hoped that he would want to, but I learned very, very quickly that he didn't, nor did he care. That his reaction to my cancer was how it affected him, not how it affected me. It was about him. He made it about him, not about me. It didn't have anything to do with me being sick. It had to do with how I couldn't do the mothery things and be 100%, taking care of him, because that's really what he wanted. He wanted me, and he told me that straight up, that it is my job to take care of him for the rest of my life. The rest of my life. The entitlement is like off the charts. And I'm glad I kicked him out when I did, because I finally got justification from the friggin' military. What the military put me through. What the military puts a lot of men and women through. And it's called military sexual trauma. Yeah. In the last few years, I've finally gotten a diagnosis for PTSD. And now I'm being compensated for my disability because it's destroyed my life. It's destroyed how I feel about myself. It has allowed me to feel so bad about myself that I let my own child hurt me and take advantage of me and use me and then throw me away like I'm garbage and treat me terribly. And he treats me terribly all the time. Every time I talk to him on the phone. He's nasty towards me. His attitude is gross. It's disgusting. And what did I do? Sacrificed everything because he was wanted. All I ever wanted in this world was to be a mother. And now I regret being a mother so much. You have no idea. I don't want to cry. Shit. You have no idea how much I regret having him now. We gotta stop blaming mothers for everything. Now, there are bad mothers out there. There are mothers who cover up for their boys. I would never do that. I am a woman's woman. It's woman first. If I ever find out that my son has hurt a woman, I will hurt him. I will make sure he's prosecuted. I will make sure that he serves time for it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to my kid. It doesn't matter. Because everyone knew he was hurting me. Everyone knew he was abusing me. And not one doctor, not one nurse, not one person helped me. And then in September, a month before my birthday, I almost died. I was in sepsis. I was so sick. I caught the norovirus. And I was so ill, so sick. And you know who saved my life? Me. I had 106-degree temperature. And it finally snapped in my brain. I have to go to the hospital. After 5 days. I was in the ICU for 6 days. And I almost died. And when my son came to visit me in the hospital, 3 days he came to visit me, and then I had him banned. Because he made me cry every time he was there. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't even really like me. He might love me. Or he might think that he loves me. But love shouldn't be painful. It shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't make you cry. It shouldn't shatter your soul. It shouldn't make you want to die. I'm sorry this got so heavy. There's a lot of things happening in the world right now that are just bad. ICE is just like willy-nilly killing people. And it's only going to get worse. More people are going to get shot and killed. More and more people. But white people, we didn't care until Renee Good got killed. But there were people that were Hispanic people who got killed. There's been black people who have been rounded up and they got killed. There was a man choked to death in detention. Oh. The patriarchy hurts everybody. It hurts all of us. But it doesn't do any good to denigrate women and mothers because their sons are violent. It's not my fault that my son is violent. I didn't make him violent. I did not turn him into an abuser. I didn't do that. I took him away from an abuser. And I didn't abuse my son. I loved him. I gave him everything that he needed to make a successful way in this world. I taught him everything. I taught him everything, how to take care of himself, how to cook, how to drive, how to balance a bank account, how to do his taxes. How to pay his bills. And what do I get paid back with? Fists and theft. I get drug outside of my home and thrown down on the concrete. That's what I get. In return for all my love and care and attention and devotion, that's what I got. And now I'm done. Because he keeps hurting me. And I cannot keep getting hurt by him. I will always love my son. I grew him in my body. I will always love him. But he is not, he's not good. He's not good to me. and I can't take it anymore. So this is my explanation to all of you why I call my son mediocre. Because he's very arrogant and he thinks that he is the best at everything. And I'll tell you, his idea of cooking for me, once I wanted spaghetti. Do you know what he did to the spaghetti? He put garam masala in my spaghetti. Not basil. Nope, garam masala. And other times, you know what he would offer me when I would tell him I was hungry and I needed to eat something? Applesauce. Trail mix. Applesauce. If I wanted pancakes, nope. Waffles, nope. He's a chef who works at high-end restaurants in San Francisco. So, he can feed other people. He just can't feed his own dying mother. So I don't know what that's supposed to do or what that's supposed to say, except that I'm not sure that my kid actually loves me or even likes me. No, I know he doesn't like me because he shows me that all the time. And he's not grateful for anything I've ever done for him. And in the 10 years of the last 8 years that I've taken care of him, since he was 22, because he couldn't hack living on his own. He couldn't make it by himself. He financially abused me. He used my car. Well, I paid for it. Well, I paid for the insurance. Well, I paid rent. Well, I paid all the bills and bought all the food. I have done everything I possibly could do to help my son. And he kicked me and hit me and threw me down on the ground and chanted at me to die. So, patriarchy won. The patriarchy won. You know what? He didn't even really suffer any real consequences. And he didn't care. He never even asked how much it cost me to fix those 2 tires. He wasn't even interested. And after my birthday, one thing, on the night of my birthday when he was screaming at me, here's what he said to me. I just wasted $50 on you. Because at the restaurant, I had an appetizer and 1 glass of Prosecco. My bill, part of the bill, was $25. $20. His was $30. But he wasted the whole $50 on me. Yeah. He didn't even get me a birthday card. He ripped a piece of paper out of a notebook and then half-assedly wrote, "Happy birthday, Mom, I love you," on it. And later I'm going to upload the video that I uploaded to TikTok today that got banned. All right. This is enough. Just wanted a quick explanation to those people who are denigrating me for calling my son mediocre. He's lucky that's all I called him. Because abusive is actually the right word for what he is. All right. I love you guys. Sorry this was so heavy and dense and dark. I'm sorry. But there's no time like the present, too. And other women need to know that the possibility that their sons may act like this, their sons may turn on them and be like this. He got mad at me yesterday. This is one of the reasons the DARVO thing happened later on, because earlier in the day he had called me. And he was talking about the guy who does the solo, did the building, Alex something. He did the solo climbing on the building or whatnot. And I was trying, he was all excited about it, and he asked me if I was going to watch it, and I said no. And he asked me why, and I said, well, because I'm not really interested in a man that, seeks notoriety by doing really dangerous things and not thinking about his family. This man is married and has 2 very young children. And before I could even say anything more, like the fact that this man has no life insurance. So if he dies doing this soloing thing or any of the other crazy solo things he's done, his wife will be left with nothing. Nothing. His kids will be left with nothing. Is that love? Because he was arguing with me that he before I could get anything else out, I just said that I didn't like the fact that he was doing this when he had a family. My son got very upset and told me that I shouldn't be bashing his heroes, even though I've been right about all of his other heroes, like Mr. Beast. I took one look at one of Mr. Beast's videos and said, that guy is an exploiter. All he's doing is exploiting these people. That's all he's doing for clicks. Turns out I was right. He admitted it a few years later that I was right. Then the lead singer of the Foo Fighters. Oh, he adored him. And I said, I've heard that he cheats on his wife left and right. Oh, turns out I was right. But he never believes me. He never believes anything I say. He acts like he's the same age as me and that I didn't give birth to him and that I'm not 22 years older than him. He thinks he's better than me. He's always thought he was better than me. Most men think they're better than women. This is a prevailing attitude of almost all men. I would know. I have dealt with all kinds of men in my life who didn't outright tell me, but did treat me like I wasn't up to par. I didn't cut the mustard. That I'm a girl when I was a woman, and I hate being called a girl. I'm not a girl. I'm a 52-year-old woman, and I've been a woman for a very long time. Stop infantilizing us. And yes, I do regret having my son now, because he's been hurting me for a long time. And why should I stay silent? I cannot be. I know I'm not the only mother of sons that this happens to, and I'm not one of them toxic boy moms. I don't think that my sunshine shines out of his behind. I've never thought that, never felt that way. I am a feminist. This got way personal, but it needed to be said. I needed to get it off my chest, and other women need to know that they're not the only ones. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you watch it all the way through, God bless you, or Goddess bless you. Goddess bless you. I'm still deconstructing Christianity from my brain. It's going to take a while. And white supremacy and all this bad shit that's been forced into my brain. But I love you all. Please take care of yourselves. Rest if you need to. Rant if you need to. but love with all your heart. Bye.